No.
Okay, so good afternoon. For today, we're going to discuss about nature of data. So when it comes to Masters of Business Administration programs, no, conducting research for managers requires taking a diverse approach to the data. So on the most fundamental level, no, the nature of data in this context, no, is founded on empirical facts with the objectives, no, of delivering insightful analysis that serve as foundation for managerial decision making. So data from a variety of fields, no, including but not limited to financial, no, market, no, operational, and human resources data are included in this influences strategic planning and problem solving inside organizations or business firms is something that MBA students absolutely need to have a solid understanding of. In an MBA programs, no, quantitative data constitute a substantial component of the research that managers and executives conduct. Surveys, experiments, and statistical analysis are all about that can be used, no, to collect numerical data for this purpose. And once again, gain objective insights into business phenomena through the use of quantitative data, which make it easier to recognize patterns, trends, and correlation. So managers are able to make more educated decisions with the assistance of such data, particularly in a certain area such as forecasting, for performance evaluation and financial modeling. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter this afternoon. Go ahead.
So, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, classmates. So, I'll be discussing the chapter 7, which is about the nature of data. So, our learning objectives are first is to understand the nature of data. Then next is learn the characteristics and types of data. After that, we will also understand the two categories of primary data. Then last but not the least is to learn the difference between qualitative and quantitative research methods. So, sorry. So, for us to understand the nature of data, we need to know what is data. So, data comes from the Latin word datum, which means a piece of information. So, data is in plural form. So, what is data? Data is, according to Google, it's the facts and statistics collected together for reference or analysis. So, there are two types of data. It is the primary and secondary data. So, primary data or raw data is a term used for data collected directly at source. Just a moment. So primary data is a term for data collected directly from the first-hand sources by means of survey, observation, and experimentation. It refers to the data that is collected and that will be processed to be more understandable information. And since data is collected directly from the source, it is usually not yet processed, filtered, cleaned, or visually presented. And that is considered as a raw data. So, common example of primary data is the result of survey that we conduct back days during our college days. Nung nagka-conduct tayo ng survey directly to from our respondents para mag-come up tayo sa statistics, 'di ba? Kasama yung statistics natin before. We gave survey forms directly to the respondents and we collect it after they answer the form. Aside from consulting the primary origin or source, data can also be collected through a third party, a process common with a secondary data. Ito na yung hindi na ikaw yung mismo or directly na nag-collect ng data from the source or the respondents. So, secondary data refers to the data collected by someone other than the user. Secondary data is the data that has already been collected through primary sources and made readily available for researchers to use for their own research. It is the type of data that has already been collected in the past. There are times na ginagawa lang nilang available tong data nito is para magamit din ng mga susunod pa na researchers, or there are times din naman na nagko-collect sila ng data but hindi na for the purpose of research, katulad ng ginagawa ng national consensus. It is the data that was already established, existing, even before the research began. Secondary data were usually found on books, magazines, and newspapers. So, primary data method of collection, we have two data collection method, which is the qualitative and quantitative research method. So, in qualitative research method, it is a type of research that explores and provides deeper insights into a real worlds. Instead of collecting numeral data points or intervene or introduce statements, just like in quantitative research, qualitative research helps generate hypotheses as well as further investigate and understand quantitative data. Qualitative research gathers participant experience, perceptions, and behavior. It answers hows and whys instead of how many or how much. It could be structured as a standalone study, purely relying in qualitative data, or it could be part of mixed methods research that combines qualitative and quantitative data. So, on the other hand, quantitative data research involves analyzing and gathering numerical data to uncover trends, calculate averages, evaluate relationships, and derive overarching insights. It is used in various fields, including the natural and social sciences. Quantitative data analysis employs statistical techniques for processing and interpreting numeric data. Research designs in the quantitative realm outline how data will be collected and analyzed with methods like experiments and surveys. So next is, let's discuss the characteristics by comparing quantitative research and qualitative research. So in terms of data type, quantitative research is where the phenomena are described numerically, while on qualitative research, phenomena are described in a narrative fashion. Quantitative is expressed in numbers, while qualitative is expressed in words and images. So next is their difference when it comes to analysis. In quantitative research, it is descriptive and inferential statistics. It answers the question how many or how much, while on qualitative research, it answers the questions hows and why. So, yun nga, since in analysis, qualitative research method, they can provide an in-depth details. We can have an in-depth understanding since they can provide detailed information on how and why it happens, ganon. For example, poverty. So with this qualitative research method, syempre kaya nilang i-describe yung root. Unlike in quantitative naman is yung numbers ng poverty here in the Philippines. So next is yung scope of inquiry. In quantitative research, we use specific questions or hypotheses. Example, when we conduct survey back then, no, di ba? Like, we let them answer with choices like male, female, working, non-working, something like that. While on the quantitative research, It is broad, thematic concerns. Questions were usually interpreted by a long answers depending on the respondent's experience, backgrounds, and perspective. So they have advantages like in quantitative, it has a large sample, statistical validity, and accurately reflects the population. So since quantitative is expressed in numbers, we can have 500 respondents or source and have its result expressed statistically, either by count or percentage. So in short, numbers, parang kaya natin siyang i-describe in just a few numbers. While on the other hand, yung qualitative naman is research method wherein it is rich, in-depth, and narrative description of samples. So, ito kasi, like yun nga, yung sample ko kanina, di ba? Hindi naman pwede natin sabihin yung, for example, yung poverty, pag-aalamin mo yung root cause ng poverty, hindi pwedeng kailang or 1, 2, 3, hindi mo siya may express. Kailangan mo i-describe into words kung anong nangyari, how does it feel, paano nagsimula, ganon. So, kung meron sila, of course, there is always a pros and cons. So, the disadvantage of quantitative research is that we only have superficial understanding of the participants' thoughts and feelings, which can only be described in words. And it is impossible to do that in quantitative as it is usually expressed nga in numbers, diba? So, on the other hand naman, the cons of qualitative research is that we can only conduct it on a small sample, not generalizable to the population large. Aside from the fact na that is expressed in words, it would take a lot of time and effort to conduct a qualitative research method to a large size of group. And it has a different answers depending on their experience, nature, and their background, etc. So, for example, magkakandak tayo ng research sa isang tribe, tapos they have like 500 villagers na kailangan nating i-interview, and then ang gamit natin is yung qualitative research method. So, before, imagine mo na lahat yung i-interviewin mo, parang let's say, kaya mong tumapos ng 10 tao na ma-interview in one day. And then, matatapos mo siya ilang months pa. How sure you are na magiging relevant pa yung magiging outcome ng research mo kung months have been passed na, kumbaga, meron ng possible na may changes na bago pa mag-come up dun sa result ng research mo or bago mo pa siya ma-analyze. So, that's the disadvantage of quantitative and qualitative research method. So, there are popular methods of data collection na we can use. Yung sa qualitative is interviews, focus groups, observation, case study, games, and role-playing. While on the quantitative naman is correlation analysis, regression analysis, mean, mode, median, which can be, basta meron siyang formula, expressed numerically or graph. So, to sum it all, we have two types of data, primary and secondary. Primary data are usually data that we collect directly from the source, while secondary data is data that already exist and readily available and can be filtered according to the purpose of research. There are also two types of primary data, which is collection, which is quantitative and qualitative research method. So, quantitative research is expressed numerically, can be measured by formulas and answer the question how many or how much, while qualitative research, it is expressed in forms of word, images, transcripts, etc. and can answer the questions how and why. So, that concludes my discussion for Chapter 7, Nature of Data. Thank you for listening.
Okay, research in management, of course, on the other hand, can benefit from the richness and context that qualitative data provides. No, it is made up of information that is not numerical and was gathered through interviews, observation, and case studies with individuals. Researchers are able to have a better understanding of the underlying causes and motives that are behind the specific company actions and phenomena, no, by utilizing qualitative data. So this more in-depth understanding is extremely helpful for the development of effective strategies. So the management of organizational transformation and the improvement of satisfaction levels for customer. So as a student, no, in MBA program, you need to be engaged not only with the quality and quantity, but look into the big data analytics in addition to quantitative and qualitative data. Organizations are being overwhelmed with massive volumes of data from a variety of sources, no, including social media, sensors, and transaction records as a result of expansions of digital technologies. So big data analytics is the process of processing and analyzing enormous data sets in order to generate important insights, identify patterns, no, and forecast future trends. So the ability of the ability to master big data methodologies provides managers, no, with the power to leverage data-driven decision making and acquire a competitive edge in the rapidly changing corporate landscape of today. So the nature of the data that is used in research for managers includes both primary and secondary. Sabi nga ni presenter, so primary data refers to the personal information that was gathered by the researchers themselves through means such as questionnaire, pwedeng experiment, pwede rin naman direct observations. So using the secondary data, on the other hand, no, it involves making use of data sources that already exist, no, such as yung reports from the company, no, or from academic journals, or even from publication of the government. So as researcher, we are able to conduct detailed analysis and evaluate findings through triangulation with the combined primary and secondary data. And this helps to enhance the robustness of their study. In the context of the MBA research, no, ethical consideration also play a significant influence in the type of data employed by managers. So when it comes to data collection, analysis, and dissemination, it is absolutely necessary for students to adhere to ethical guidelines on a consistent basis. So the protection of confidentiality, the acquisition of informed consent from participants, and the avoidance of bias in the interpretation of data are all necessary steps in this process. Not only does ethical behavior protect the legitimacy and trustworthiness of the business community, but it also supports the integrity of the study that is being conducted. So the nature of the data used in research is distinguished by the fact that it is one that it's dynamic and evolving. So the landscape of data is always shifting as a result of shifting customer preferences, nandiyan ang technologies, at syempre yung markets. No? Ano ba yung nasa markets right now? So in order to make use of the most recent tools and approaches for decision support, the researchers or kung kayo yung managers ng company, you are required to remain current and in the newest development in the data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning through continuous education. And actually, I'm happy that you are present in the master's degree program. I mean to say that you are looking forward to have an additional understanding or to improve or to learn and relearn with regards to the latest of course, in the field of business, no, not only technology, no, but even some markets, some available markets at present. So when it comes to managerial research, no, continuous learning and adoption are very necessary, no, in order to fully use the potential inherent in data. So the nature of the data that is used in research for business program actually is broad, no? So including, sabi nga natin kanina, quantitative, qualitative, and big data analytics. So this is the nature of the data, and this approach, no, incorporates both primary and secondary sources, no? It is governed by ethical values and is motivated by the requirement for decision making that is evidence-based, a manager's ability to handle complexities, predict obstacles, and capitalize on opportunities. Today's dynamic business environment is directly correlated to the mastery of data analysis methodologies. So data collection and analysis is crucial process for managers to engage in when conducting research. So the goal is this process to acquire information that can be used to influence decision making and strategic planning inside businesses. So the most fundamental aspect of data gathering is the identification to relevant sources, which can include anything from internal databases or external market efforts. So I think that's it for this topic.